Welcome to the day 17 of our 30 days AI automation challenge. Today we are not going to build anything new. I just want to tell you some of the mistakes to avoid and some of the things you need in order to start an automation. There are some things you need to you don't just jump into building AI automation. You need to do some sketches, you need to think, you need to memorize, you need to do what we call design thinking to know what you are currently building before you even start it. The reason why some of you are having issues is because you just wake up one day and say, okay, let me build this. I know you have been practicing what I want to practice, but on your own, when you want to build something different from here, you need to think and not just jump into it. That's okay. So let's do something. Before you build the AI automation blueprints for scalable workflow. So you need to do some design and all of that. Is that okay? You don't just jump into it. So this is what I call the trap of the spaghetti workflow. So the people I call the spaghetti people are, those kind of people who they just jump directly into building things without dropping a sketch. Personally, if I want to build anything, I carry my pen and paper and I sit down and I draw what I want to build. So from there, I think I begin to know the kind of tools I will use and all of that. I'm saying this because you'll be building things away from what we have been doing. You won't be following step by step like I'm doing. So you need to follow what I'm teaching today. Is that okay? So for the trap of the spaghetti workflow, we have the system building directly on the platform without a plan. It's not good. The result on plan logic and all of that. So the circle, you build, you delete, you go back, you get frustrated. Most of you have been even encountering this even in the training. That will also work if you don't follow what I'm teaching today. Is that okay? So there is also what we call the diagnostic metrics. That's those who build and the architect. Is that okay? So you still follow the spaghetti workflow and the design first axis. So those who don't think or don't plan before they build, and those who actually think before they build. So you approach it like build as you go. As you're going, you want to know as you're going how the result will be. That's not how it's supposed to be. Is that okay? So the execution, high ambiguity and guessing, the velocity, you start fast, you click you build, add the trigger, the ones first. Before you go, you begin to get tired. Then the outcome, unimaginable complexity. It does not work like that. So the best thing is visual design challenge. Visualize what you want to build. Think about what you want to build, right? Is that okay? And then absolute clarity before execution. Know exactly what you want. For by the time you know that this is what I want to achieve, you must have known the kind of nodes to use, what will be the trigger, what will be the action, what will be the nodes, all these things will be in place. Then slowly you start planning for it, and then of course the result will be that you have high execution. Is that okay? Strategy precedes implementation. You will not converge on a virgin plot of land when you have not planned for it. Is that okay? See, you won't just, let's say you have a land and you want to build a house. You won't just wake up one day and just say, I want to build a house. No. You must need an architect to build you a building plan, and from there you now start clearing the bush. From the bush, you start digging the foundation, and from there you start doing it. It's the same thing with automation. You don't just stand up one day and say you want to build automation. Sit down and think over it. Is that okay? So you can see that an architect's plan gives you the roadmap of how everything is supposed to do, and then from there the designers can now use it to build your house. So from there you can now do it. Is that okay? So if you do it and unplan something, it doesn't work. Everything comes the same. It doesn't know where the wood is coming from, the blocks, the cement, and all these things. Is that okay? Assume the responsibility of an architect before you build. You act as a builder. Is that okay? Before you act as a builder, before you even, those who build houses has knowledge of architects. So before you build any automation, assume that you are an architect, you are a builder. So you have to first of all do the design before you now go into the building. Is that okay? All right, so let's proceed. And this is number 4. The third phase of automation is number 1. Let's say phase 1, you do we have 3 phases of automation cycle. That's what I'm trying to explain. Phase 1, we have map the AE's reality. What's the AE's reality? Understand the manual business workflow and friction points before writing a single prompt. Let's say somebody comes to you and says, build me an automation for so of my website. first you need to understand what is the business into. Is the business into selling shoes? Is the business into selling let's say tech product? Is the business into selling real estate? Understand everything from the person before you even know the kind of prompts to use. Remember that when we're building data automation, the one we built from day 7, we said we are in Express Tech, we want to build something and students want to come and take courses. That is for a digital tech academy like us. But if somebody come and said, I want to build it for, let's say, a company where they sell clothes, the prompt will be different. And that's why you need to understand the goal of what that company stands for. Is that okay? And that's the phase 1. The phase 2 is draft the logic. You have understood what the person is doing. You now draft out what you want to draft, what to build. So usually me, I use a pen and paper. I carry my pen and paper and I draft. I say, okay, this one will be the node, this one will be the node, just something like that. Just draft out something. This is how architecture or architects do. Is that okay? And then the phase 3 is you now translate what you have built or what you have designed into the full building. If you don't understand the person's product, that is phase 1, then design it in the paper, for example, you can't be able to translate it to a full building. Is that okay? This is very important because most of you will be monetizing this skill and you will need to know how to do all of this. So phase 1, mapping the AI. Let me just explain what I've just said. Phase 1, mapping the mapping the as is reality. Is that okay? Before adding AI, rigorously document the current workflow. So what do you need? You might need an email, you might need a chatbot, you might need an scale schedule, you might need a data flow, and all this. We have talked about all of these things. Then the golden rule is you cannot automate a broken process. You have to document it. So manual copying and pasting, handcuff gaps, and then the human loop. Do you need to include the human loop? We have talked about the human loop. I think in the 15 or 14 or thereabout, we talked about the human loop. So do you need to bring in the human loop? You have to document the process. I've just explained that there's no need talking much on it. And then if you can't measure it, you can't automate it. Is that okay? Your work will be measured by return on investment. Do not proceed without the goals. Do not proceed without the goals. Now, this thing I'm about to build, what will be the result? Is that okay? This thing I'm about to build, what will be the result? Is that okay? So the VEC result could be make the process faster, all right? Help the shorten the theme, and then reduce typing. So this is the objective. Then this is the qualitative objective here. Reduce invoice from 5 days to 2 days. So if the business person comes to you, he's actually saying, build me something that will help me do something. So he has a goal in mind, and you must also have that goal in mind as a builder. Even if you are building it for yourself, you must have to have a goal in mind. This is what I want to achieve. This is what the result should be. Is that okay? So let's say make the VEC objectives, make the process faster. Quantitative objective may be reduce the process from 5 days to 2 days. So don't classify your goals based on, don't allow your goals to be too large. That's what I'm trying to explain here. Break them down. So instead of you to say make the process faster, you can say to reduce an invoice processing from 5 days to 2 days. Exactly what I'm explaining. So number 2 is, let's say help the sorting team. You can say increase sorting speed by 35%. Is that okay? Then let's say reduce the typing, or you can say eliminate 100% manual data entry from intake forms. So this is how it's supposed to be. So if you can't measure it, you can't automate it. So break everything down and then ensure that the goals are not too big for you to understand. You break them down for you to understand everything. Is that okay? So let's go to the next slide, and then this is the phase 2, which is the architecture visual dictionary. Subsidize your wireframes. All right, use these core shapes to map the logic before. That we are talking about when you are writing it down with your pen, mapping it down with your pen. You can use a circle to identify your trigger. You can use a triangle to identify some of the layers that you'll be using. Is that okay? You can also use the square to identify your action and data flow. All right, so this is very, very important. This is a critical layer: expected input, output, structure, data, passing, specific. Leave all this grammar. I've explained all of this. It's just to use all these tools here to map out in your paper. So this is how it's supposed to be, the visual architecture. Is that okay? So that when you go there, you'll be able to know what to do. Is that okay? Now the next one is drafting the logic flow. That's it. Now after you must have logically assume it, you now start drafting it. So this is how to draft it. You can say the circle is the trigger. You can see how this picture looks exactly here. So from here you can now do the mapping. You can see it. So it is in form of the 4-step draft sequence. Number 1, identify the starting point, which is the trigger. Number 2, list the actions and decisions that will going to be attached to the trigger. Number 4, define the data flow. How is it going to be run? And then number 4 is connect the systems together if at all you did not connect them in the first place. Is that okay? That is that. And then we now go to the first 3, which is the paper prototype test. I've just said this. There's no need talking about this. It's just to write them on the paper and all of that. But here you need to catch the missing steps. I need to cross-check all your work. Is that okay? Now it is time to now translate it from what you have been putting on paper to now translate it back to how they call to the end where you are building it, or to your make.com, monday.com, Zapier, or any of the automation workflow that we are using. But we have been using end. So you can now translate it from here directly to here. Is that okay? This is where you can translate it. So you can now know from what you have understand about what you are building. You can now know exactly what the system prompt is, what the defined user is. Is that okay? How to configure your AI agent and everything. So, but if you don't understand all those things, you will not know how your prompt should be. You will not know how every of these things is supposed to be. But of course, we have known all of this. You can now bring everything together and then optimize it. Then last is you need to track to know the result. Is that okay? The ROI of the design first thinking. So you need to know after you have built it. You are not just building it for building sake. Is that okay? Remember that in the 18 I will also going to show you how to convert your work to make it public on the website. Is that okay? Like building a front end for your website, because we are not just building from here, everything from here. No, we are actually going to build this thing and make it live on a particular website. So in the 18 I want to show you how to build a chart, something like this. So not this, something like this. I'm actually going to show you how to build something like this. Is that okay? So let's come back to what we are talking about. So after you have built it, what is the return on investment? Did it work? Did it actually reduce the cost effect? Did it actually help the user? So you can now document everything here. So let's say for case 1, you were working for a bank, manual bottlenecks. You can say what was the problem, and then what was the data entry, what was the result, what did you do. This one here is a strategy, this one here is a problem. So let's say you were working for a bank, for example. You created a bot or something for them. So this is their problem. You actualize it, and then this is a strategy you use in creating it, and then of course at the end of the day this is the result. Is that okay? So you have to track the ROI, the return on what you are doing, an investment. So case 2 could be a peak season sorting pressure. This is what you do, your automated sorting and rerouting system, and then this is the result you got afterward. Is that okay? So with that, I think we are gradually getting to the end. And then of course the second to the last is you need to also have this in the back of your mind. That's the summary of what we have talking, the automation manifesto. Start with a pain, end with a robot. Start with drafting everything, and before you now end with building. Is that okay? Map the as is reality before you change it. Never automate a broken process. Define your triggers, stress, everything on the paper. These are just going to be your manifesto. This is the workflow from 1 to 5. This is what you need to build. That's okay. Now let's come to the last, of course, the architect toolkit. Good workflow planning makes automation smoother, more effective, and easier to adopt. So it is from your paper to the system. Is that okay? To the end. So don't actually start this whole thing without watching this video. Thank you so much. I hope this helps you. I hope you use this as you go, as you proceed. I hope you use this to help you to build something that is different for what you are following, because what you have actually been following me to do is you are following me to click. If I click here, you follow me to click. If I click here, you follow me to click. Now what if you are now asked to build something different? And that's why this video was very important. Kindly help me subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I will see you in the 18. I love you.